This is a Rough Tiger production.
And you, and you, and you, and you were there. Some of it wasn't very nice, but most of it was beautiful.
And Merry Christmas.
And happy Boxing Day. And happy episode 100. Can you believe it, Bryan?
We made it
we are
after
ready
after
for
2 long years.
we are ready for syndication. Um, thank you for being along with us on this ride. For those of you who've been with us, there's a few of you who've been around with us since the very first episode. Thank you for doing that with us. We hope to bring you at least 100 more. This is the final episode of the as we wrap things up here at Dream Idiots for 2023.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for hanging in there and listening to all of our nonsense and liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram. We're at Dream Idiots. Please give us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening to us on and shoot us a review. That'd be a huge help. And you can drop us a line at dreamidiotspodcast@gmail.com. So if you have any story ideas or a curse word for us to look up or anything at all, just drop us a note.
And listeners, you probably know that Bryan and I come here each week to tell each other stories and drag you along for the ride. You probably also know at this point, but just a reminder that we don't let each other know. We try not to let each other know what we're doing unless we're doing something really, really specific. So we don't have two left-handed serial killer stories in the same week.
Awkward.
But for episode 100, I wanted to do something special and really put Bryan on the spot. Bryan, I've got a 100th episode, what I'm calling the 10 by 10 quiz for you for my half of the show today.
The 10 by 10 quiz?
I'm calling it 10 by 10 because it's 10 questions, each of which has at least 10 answers to it.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
So you're going to be rattling off a lot of information here today.
Okay.
There's also bonus points available here and there to see how you do. Are you ready?
This is not going to go well because as you and I think have commented several times offline, whenever with the stories that I do, I write them, we record them, and then I instantly delete them from my skull. So I suspect this will not go well, but I'm ready.
I think you'll be okay.
Okay.
Because some of this information is directly from the podcast, some is tangentially related.
Okay.
I think you'll be all right. Bryan,
Okay.
Question number 1. In our discussion on favorite books, we had one author in common on our list of 5 favorite books. Do you remember who that was?
It was probably John Irving.
It was. Please name 10 of his 15 novels. You may earn a point apiece for any beyond the 10 you name. So name as many John Irving novels as you can,
Many
Bryan.
John Irving novels. The World According to Garp, Cider House Rules, The Hotel in New Hampshire, A Prayer for Owen Meany, Son of the Circus, Setting Free the Bears, The Water Method Man.
Boy, now it gets into the second half of his career work. It's hard, doesn't it?
The 158 pound, 148 pound marriage.
Yep.
158 pound, whatever.
158-pound marriage. Yep.
Shoot.
That takes care of his first half of his career. That's the first.
I only read most of his early
8.
stuff that I read. I started Son of the Circus and couldn't finish it, and I actually just bought his most recent book, but I couldn't tell you what the fucking title is. Shoot. I think I'm stuck at 8.
That's pretty good. 8's pretty good. You got 8. The others are A Widow for 1 Year, The Fourth Hand, Until I Find You, The Last Night in Twisted River, In One Person, which I'm currently reading, Avenue of Mysteries, and the book sitting on your shelf that you haven't read yet is The Last Chairlift.
Yes, right. And
That's the most recent one.
And The Fourth Hand is really good too. But I spaced the title.
And that is that's 8 out of 15 total points, but 8 out of 10. So you're doing good. Bryan, we've done at least 3 stories set in Canada: the Great Toronto Stork Derby, the Queen of Canada, and Francois Scherm. Can you please name for me the 10 Canadian provinces? And for 3 bonus points, name the 3 territories.
Oh, they're provinces and territories?
If you want to do it for bonus points, you don't have to name the territories.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'll try to do the hard ones first. Yukon Territory, Northwest Territories
Mm-hmm.
are the northern ones. Nova Scotia, Newfoundland. Is New Brunswick one over on the far east coast?
New Brunswick is one, yes.
And then British Columbia,
Mhm.
um, Ontario,
Mm-hmm.
Alberta.
Yep.
Well,
A.
Quebec isn't one.
Quebec, yes, it is.
It is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if I'm missing one, I can't think what it is.
Well, you've done two of the three territories, and you've done
British
one,
Columbia,
two, three.
Alberta. In my mind, I'm going left and right across the country.
You need three more. You need three more of the provinces
Three more provinces.
and one
Shit.
more territory.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get them. I don't think.
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Technically it's 8.5 points because it's Newfoundland and Labrador, but I'll go ahead and give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Okay.
7, 8, 9. 9. You missed Saskatchewan,
Oh, should have had that one. That's
Manitoba,
should have
and
had
whatever
that one.
the one everybody forgets, Prince Edward Island.
Oh, okay.
And then it's Nunavut is the third territory you missed. The one that
Never even heard of that.
that's the one that's the native territory.
Is Vancouver Island part of British Columbia?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, as far as I know. Okay, that's pretty good though. You got 9 out of 10
Okay.
for that one. Bryan, we've talked basketball here very often.
Mhm.
I did a story on hardwood hijinks, and then we've done other things about basketball on here. There are 11 NBA franchises which have won multiple titles. That is more than one.
Okay.
How many can you name? Of the 10, there's 11 total. So this question is
Name
worth,
all the NBA teams that have won more than one title.
well, shoot for 10, but if you can get all 11, you can get 11 points. So
Okay. So Celtics, Bulls, Lakers,
mhm, mhm,
Spurs,
mhm.
Miami,
Yep.
Houston.
Yep. And this is regardless of whether or not they changed a city. I'm talking about franchises here. So if they won more than one,
Right. Um, Seattle?
gets nope.
Oh, 76ers,
Yep.
Detroit,
Yep.
Milwaukee,
Yep. Two more.
not Clippers. Oh, Warriors.
That's 10, dude.
And what's the 11th? Shit. Knicks.
God damn, Bryan. That's 11 out of 11. Well done. Oh, Bryan, you're going to hate this one.
I love when you say that.
Bryan, the works of William Shakespeare have often come up on Dream Idiots. Name 10 of his non-historical plays.
Oh, 10 of his non-historical
So
plays. You suck.
No Henry the Suchins and Henry the
So no Romeo
it's
and Juliet.
no,
No.
no, you could that one's fine. Romeo and Juliet's good. I'm
Well,
talking
it's
about the ones that I'm talking about the ones that are named after kings and shit.
okay.
Real people. One's named after real people. So none of the Henrys and none of those.
So yes, okay. So can't do no Hamlet, no Macbeth, no King Lear. Okay.
No, you got
Uh
Hamlet, you got King Lear, you got Macbeth. Those aren't real people. I'm talking about the ones that are named after
oh,
real
named after
kings.
actual. Okay.
Yes.
So how many is it? I've gotten
You
four.
got four. Yeah, just
Uh,
by
just by rattling them
thinking you were
off.
eliminating them. Yes.
Um, as you like it.
As you like it.
12th Night,
12th night.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yep.
Merchant of Venice.
Yep.
Two Men of Verona.
Oh, very good. I didn't have that on my list.
Um, that's 9. I need 10.
Well, you can have as many as you want. You get as many points for as many places you can name, but 10 is the ideal number to go for. Yeah.
I can't believe I can't think of a 10th.
I've got his goriest play on here.
His goriest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm stumped.
You done?
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Because that's 9 of 10. I also have Taming of the Shrew, The Tempest, Titus
Yeah.
Andronicus. 9 out of 10.
Okay.
There's a few more than that, but that's just
Oh
what I
yeah.
had
All
down.
right. All right.
That's
Okay.
good. Bryan, you did a great story for us last year. Can you name 10 of the 13 Yule lads that you told us about from
Oh
Icelandic
God.
myth?
uh 10 of the Yule ads. I
10 of
should
the 13 Yule lads. Or, name all 13 if you can.
no, I'm not gonna come up with many of these. Um Doorway Sniffer, meat those are Meat Hook, meat.
Yep, meat hook. Yes.
Shoot. They were really funny too. Um
Hmm.
d-
Those,
um
those are some of the later guys that you just mentioned. Those were days 11 and 12. Doorway sniffer and meat hook. If
yeah,
that helps in
they're all
perspective.
really really funny.
They get worse and remember they get worse and worse as the day goes
Right,
as
right, right. Yeah,
we
it's
proceed towards
right,
Christmas.
right, right. Um, yeah, feces flinger, and then he's like, oh, why is that? No, um, crap. Can I really only think of two?
Foreskin flicker was my least favorite. That was pretty rough.
It's the story of Jesus. Um, shoot, I think I only can come up with two.
Oh, come on. Go back to the kitchen.
Oh, there's ladle something. No,
Close.
um, I don't know. Tell me.
Oh, Bryan, I am so disappointed. There is sheepcoat clod, gully glock, stubby, spoon liquor, pot scraper,
Spoon
bowl
liquor.
liquor,
That fuck.
door
Bowl liquor. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
door slammer, skyer gobbler, which I think translates to yogurt gobbler, sausage swiper, window peeper,
Yeah, sausage
door,
swiper
door
and window paper were the two I should have. Yeah.
doorway sniffer, meat hook, and candle stealer. Now, Bryan, there's one more bonus point that you can get after the names I just rattled off to you.
Uh-huh.
For a bonus point, which Yule lad did I suggest was a Hanna-Barbera cartoon character voiced by Paul Lind?
um, well, I assume sausage swiper.
Yeah, you bet it was sausage. Hide your sausage, boys. So that's 3 points for you for that category. Bryan, you and I are native San Antonians.
Mhm.
Can you name 10 defunct or relocated sports franchises that are passed through our dear hometown of San Antonio?
10.
10.
Jeez.
Most
Well,
of them are football, I'll tell you that.
yeah, I was thinking the ones that were not football first, because football is going to be the ones is going to be the easier one. So there's, from hockey there was the Iguanas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, God, what were the other hockey teams? And in baseball, it's the same franchise, I guess, but it was the San Antonio Dodgers for a period of time, which got back and forth. So does that count? Missions and Dodgers.
Well, I'll take the missions because the missions did move out. That is a good one. I'll take the missions
Okay.
because that missions double A team became the new double A team up in Amarillo when we got the
Oh, okay. Which actually
yeah. So
changed.
I'll
Okay,
I'll count
I
that.
didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That was recent. Yeah. So I will take that. That's
Okay.
good.
And then for football, so there was the Riders
Mm-hmm.
that played up at Texas State. I
Mm-hmm.
think.
Yep. Texas Stadium. Yep.
The obvious one is the Gunslingers for their
Yep.
for all 6 games that they played, or I'm sure it was more than that, but um, And good old Rick Neuheisel, our really terrible quarterback. Um, what else? Yeah, the other shoot. Oh, it seems like was there actually an attempt to call a team the San Antonio Bears, but Bears spelled Bexar? Or am I making that up?
I don't recall that one.
Okay. Um, at one point that was floated as a name idea when they came up with gunslingers, and frankly, a grizzly bear spelled Bexar would have been better than gunslinger. I think that's all I got.
There was a basketball team that passed through town that was
Chaparrals?
relocated.
No,
Nope.
that was that was,
Differently.
that was relocated.
And they recently became champions of their league twice.
The
We had a
Chicago Bulls.
we had a,
No
we had
idea.
we had a soccer team here in the old North American Soccer League.
Oh, I forgot about that completely. Yeah,
We
I
had
don't know.
three.
And three, there are a bunch of hockey teams. I know that.
There were three. You mentioned one of them. Any other stabs at?
No, mm-mm.
Okay, we had a CFL team here once. Do you remember that name?
The Riders and it was another uh, Wranglers, or it was another Western horse thing, wasn't it?
I'm giving you 4 points for this one, Brian.
Okay,
The Gunslingers, Commanders, the Force, the Toros, the Talons,
okay.
the Texans of the CFL, the Wings of the WFL, the Rampage and the Dragons, and the one you didn't get was the Silver Stars of the WNBA.
Oh,
They went on, became the Las Vegas Aces. Yeah, but you got the Missions, which was pretty awesome. Brian, I know you're a big fan. We've talked about them. In fact, you did a great story on them that I re-listened to yesterday. Can you name 10 of the Beatles albums? I've got 14 here, so you can get up to 14 points. And I'm not
10.
counting the red albums and blue albums because those are compilations. So 10
Okay.
proper Beatles studio albums.
If I can't do this, you can have me euthanized. 10 Beatles albums. Okay. Let it be
Yes.
Abbey Road,
hmm
the White Album,
Also known as just what's the proper title?
but
I'll take White Album. I'll
okay.
take White Album.
What's the proper title?
Just the Beatles.
Is okay. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try and do that. Wait, so what did I say? Abbey Road, White
White
Album,
Album. Let it be.
and Let It Be. Uh, Revolver, Sergeant
Yep.
Pepper's.
Yep. That's
Um,
5. Those early ones are a
oh,
bear, huh?
yeah, they are. Rubber Soul.
Yep.
Shoot. The other early ones. What are those early ones called? Oh, Help.
Yeah. That's 7.
Yeah, those first couple. Oh, was one of them just called Meet the Beatles?
Meet the Beatles. Yep, that's 1. You're up to 8.
Hmm. Champagne Supernova? No. I'm stumped.
Please Please Me with the Beatles, Hard Day's Night, Beatles for
A Hard
Sale.
Day's Night. That was the one I
Yep.
should have had, right?
And then 2 of the later ones, Magical Mystery Tour and Yellow Submarine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 8. That's good. All right, Brian, we're in the home stretch. Brian, you've covered a whole lot of interesting historical figures. Can you name at least 10 of the historical figures you've covered?
Oh God. Let me quickly bring up our website, which by the way is dreamidiots.com. Um, um, historical figures I have covered. So Mary Anning, she sells seashells. Okay, I can't even say it once. She sells seashells.
Okay.
Um, Jean-Charles Houzeau was
Yes.
the most recent longer one. Historical people. As I was just saying moments ago, when I find these stories and I research them, I write them all up and I tell them, and I almost always forget them. Oh, sir, Mansfield Smith Cumming.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And this can be recent history as well. It doesn't have to be necessarily like a gajillion years ago.
I don't think have I done anything that's like more recent history? Um, Obviously, if you're saying that, I must have. We could sit here in silence for a long period of time. World's most boring podcast.
Maybe think about women first. Interesting historical women, if you because
Well,
you've
yeah,
covered quite a
this,
few.
yeah, this, all the suffragitsu stuff.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
was one. What was her name?
God dang it. Florence Nightingale. No. Shit.
Okay, I'm gonna do it this way.
Okay.
She helped defeat the Nazis.
What was your story? There was the no, Ava Kensler. Not that's not that one. She helped defeat the Nazis.
With math.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The Spitfire.
Yep,
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
that was.
Henry Hill. No, it was no,
I'll take it because you got our last name right. Hazel Hill.
Hazel Hill.
This
Yeah,
person's tissue was used without her permission.
oh, her. Yeah, her. Yeah, I know you. Yes. God, I honestly feel bad that I told these stories and I can't remember them.
Eh,
Lax, Henrietta Lax.
yep, aviatrix. That means she was a pilot, Brian.
Thank you. Aviatrix. Um, Aviatrix? Yeah, Bessie Coleman.
There you go. This guy invented a really cool box to sit in.
Oh, yeah, him.
This is getting
Uh,
worse and worse.
yes, the Orgasmatron. What the fuck was his name? Abraham Lincoln. No, I don't know.
This guy spells his name with lowercase b's. Environmentalist,
E. Cumming. Yeah, no.
studies poet, but he's a poet. Studies I believe he was a poet and he studies environmental.
Yeah, yeah, Mr. Organic. That guy, the life and death of Mr. Organic. That story. Couldn't tell you his
No.
name. No,
Mm-mm.
not that story. Oh shoot. I don't know. I give up.
This is totally dis this is
Put me
totally
out of my
disastrous.
misery.
Here's some of the folks that I'm going to give you 6 for this one. Hazel Hill, Guillaume de Legentile, Clutty Hutton, Billy Barr, Vladimir Komarov, Henrietta Lacks. You mentioned Mary, Bessie Coleman, Lady Houston, Big Nose Kate, Jerome Radale, Robert List. That's Mr. Organic.
Rodale, that's right.
Robert Liston, Wilhelm Reich, Peter Tripp, Jack Foley, Edith Garud, that she was the suffragitsu. You
Hmm.
mentioned Huzzo, Cumming Smith. James Fallon was another guy that
Oh,
you
the
did. So
psychotic,
you've
the
done
psychopath.
a
Yeah.
lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Brian, this one's going to hurt even more. Can you give us a few of the curse words of the week we've done?
Oh shit. Uh, Not really. I find them and then so Caganer, um,
Caganer, yep.
which is still probably my favorite word. Might be my favorite of all time. Um, Honestly, I can't. I find them, we laugh about them, and then I instantly forget them.
I'll give you
So,
1 point. And the
So
final,
if I sat here in silence for half an hour, I could probably come up with a few of them. But
mercifully, the last question on this 10 by 10 quiz, Bryan, can you just name 10 regularly banned books in the US throughout the years?
10 regularly banned books.
I bet you can do this.
Oh, probably so. I mean, just name any 10 books for that matter. Well, The Joy of Sex was not one we talked about. I know that's routinely banned.
Okay.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yep.
Mouse.
Yep. That's three.
Great Gatsby.
Four.
It feels like both Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn are at least occasionally banned. Catcher in the
Yep.
Rye.
That's five. That's six.
What else? Diary of Anne Frank. We haven't talked about that one. It feels like it would probably be banned.
That's seven. It has been banned. Yes. Damn, you're killing it with this one.
Other books that were banned. The Dictionary.
Close.
What's the dictionary? The thesaurus. No. Has the Bible been banned? Probably not.
Yep.
Has it really? Various versions. The King James version was banned versus the a red letter version.
That's eight.
More books that have been banned. Grapes of Wrath feels like that must be on there.
Well, it's got that scene where the guy, yeah, it's nine, dude.
You know, In Cold Blood, probably Truman Capote I'm sure was probably banned. I mean, I'm trying to think of other things that are the ones that are frequently talked about and on those lists. I mean, what else? Well, feels like Hobbit and or Lord of the Rings has been banned. Did we talk about that?
Mm-hmm.
They give me 10.
It gives you a dozen.
Okay.
Let's see what you got here. You got 14, 20, 28, 37, 48, 58, 61. Bryan, you got a 75. That's a passing grade.
a very middling C.
Well, you're doing fine till I threw the curse words of the week at you.
Yeah. Bryan
All
Treat
right.
as the academic, relentlessly average. That was me.
But that's just a sampling of some of the stuff we've talked about here. It was meant to kind of be a sampler of some of the stuff. I mean, my gosh, you hit a lot of historical figures, far more than I have in your stories over the last 2 years. Folks that I don't think I'd heard of any of these folks, with the exception of Bessie Coleman and
Henrietta, maybe.
and Wilhelm Reich and James Fallon were the only three that I'd heard of that list I made before we started doing the show. So you've at least educated me.
Nice. You
Yes.
and no one else.
That is not true. All right.
Pretty good. Yeah, thanks for doing that. That was actually pretty fun, even though you screwed me over on that one. I can't believe I can't believe I couldn't recall stories I had told, but sorry about that. Anyway.
I'm surprised you didn't remember fart control, but
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny. If you're wondering what fart control is, please Google it. It's pretty funny. It's Dutch. So I actually do have a final curse word of the year.
It's time for the Dream Idiots curse word of the week.
All right, let's have it.
And I think I may have mentioned this to you before, but this is just a word that just makes me laugh. The word is crud fuck. And I think I told you where this comes from. Do you recall?
No.
No. So someone recommended to me. I think my nephew recommended to me the Shittown podcast. If you haven't listened
All
to
right.
the Shittown podcast, the main character in this thing is born and raised in Alabama. Whole thing set in Alabama. I won't do any spoilers, but he has this very much this Alabama drawl, and he says that he lives in a crud fuck town. That crud fuck town is Woodstock, Alabama. I just think that's one of the funniest words I've ever heard in my life. And so, a crud fuck town is just a podunk little backwater, but a great little word.
But it's
So,
got a little stank on it too. Red fuck.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah,
Kind of a grossness to it.
if you live in a place that's backwards and stupid and hateful and racist and out of step and out of touch, you live in a crud fuck town, a place where they elect football coaches to the U.S. Senate, places like that. And as Jimmy Carr once said, Alabama, where they don't have brothers and sisters, they have bilfs and sylphs. Right? You live in a
Jimmy
crud.
Carter said that?
Yes, Jimmy Carter, former President Jimmy Carter said that. No, Jimmy Carr, comedian Jimmy Carr.
Jimmy Carr.
I really wish Jimmy Carter had said that.
Well, I don't want to speak badly of the South, but
Plains, Georgia, before I came here, just a crutch fuck little town. Okay, so you ready for mine?
yes, I am.
So it's Christmas. I hate to bring up stuff that's heavy, and so I'm gonna try to focus on the levity of some of this.
God.
But
Okay.
with that sort of intro, we're gonna dive into something that's I don't know. It's sort of a comedy of errors at some point. But it feels because of the timeliness of this, it feels like we had to dive into. They're kind of two brief stories that we can not let the mood slip because of the topic, but hopefully just kind of laugh at it. Because there's nothing funnier than executions in a
Oh
crud fuck state.
God.
But so this is an update. If you haven't heard this topic brought up before, uh, do some Googling, do some research on this. This is just completely bonkers that I am very, very fervently against the death penalty. I've never lost someone to a crime like that. If you have and you're in favor, okay, I guess I get it. But there are these states now, all in the South, that are having a very consistently difficult time finding ways to execute people on death row. So, as we discussed now on multiple occasions in Alabama, they are now proceeding with a course of action that they're moving away from lethal injection in favor of a new procedure called nitrogen hypoxia. So the most recent update, this was an article from NPR. There's a guy who's a spiritual advisor. His name is Reverend Dr. Jeff Hood. In spite of the fact that he is religious, I will give him big props for being a spiritual advisor to people who are on death row. The man who's at the center of this, kind of Kenneth Eugene Smith, is set to be executed in Alabama in about a month's time. January 25th, I think, is the exact date. But now they have told the state of Alabama has told this guy Hood that he can be there when this procedure is done, but he has to sign. He's been asked to sign a waiver, which he has signed, that he understands that he may be put at risk because it is possible, although highly unlikely, that the hose supplying gas to Smith's face could detach, and there could be an area of, quote, free flowing nitrogen gas, which could result creating a small area of risk approximately 2 feet from the outflow. It's also possible the nitrogen gas could displace oxygen in the air above Smith's face and head, according to this document. And there will have to be gas sensors in the room as a safety precaution. And so
Jesus Christ.
they're trying to make sure that they only kill one person that day. Again, I'm not advocating for or against it. generally speaking. But the whole point of this is that if you're, if you're in a civilized society, if you are going to execute people for crimes that they have committed, and no one is disputing this man's guilt, he frankly is in interviews, he is ready to go. He acknowledges guilt, and he is ready to go. And he's entitled to a spiritual advisor who can touch him, who can, have his hands on him at the time of execution, right? But now this guy Hood is being told he has to be 3 feet away, and not be touched. So there's an expert on this in this article. Dr. Joel Zivot is an anesthesiologist and a prof at Emory University. Says, quote, they could start to hyperventilate because their body would detect that they're in a low oxygen environment. At that, severe hyperventilation can lead to stroke. It's a short way of saying that they don't really know what's going to happen when this procedure is carried out. And they're basically kind of hiding the ball a little bit. So Hood has been present now for 4 executions recently in Texas, Oklahoma, and Alabama. He's never been required to acknowledge a risk to his safety before. And he says, quote, "There's no doubt in my mind that Alabama is the most ill-prepared, unprofessional execution squad that exists of those 3 states." At this point, he is going to be there. He's going to be there for Smith's execution. And he understands the risk. He's the father of 5, and he's explained this to his children and to his wife that he's going to be there, even though the risk is allegedly minimal. And so again, it's just yet another example of the cruelty just being the point. And I fail to understand it. Hood goes on to say, quote, in talking about Kenny Smith's prior execution attempt when they tried to kill him via the standard procedure, they tried for 4 hours to to slice into him to get veins and couldn't do it so he was being cut into for 4 hours. Hood says, quote, "They didn't even have anybody that could run a line on Kenny, and we're supposed to trust these people with nitrogen. They could kill all of us," unquote. So again, Alabama and Texas are playing football. This is sort of the cruelty bowl in certain respects. Not to be done by Alabama, however, is the other story, which I'm sure you saw. Let me bring up this. I won't go into quite the same level of detail on this story, but in Texas, there's a woman just recently in the past month, Kate Cox, who I originally thought I shouldn't mention her name, but her name is out there everywhere now. She is 31, lives in Dallas. She's married with a couple of small kids. She finds out approximately a month ago, at about 20 weeks into her 3rd pregnancy, that the fetus has something called trisomy 18. It's a genetic condition. This baby is not going to live. Cox also has all kinds of cramping, bleeding, other symptoms, and she's gone to the ER on multiple occasions. And so she believed that obviously Roe v. Wade is now gone, and Texas is one of the many states that fired off a bill making abortion illegal that was triggered the second Roe v. Wade was repealed, right? But there are some cases where abortion is okay if the pregnancy, quote, "poses a serious risk of substantial impairment of a major bodily function." So lawyers in Texas are actually trying to figure out whether or not giving birth is a bodily function or not. Basically, her lawyers and her doctor basically say, well, of course it is. Her future fertility is at risk. This is completely absurd. So she initially a district judge grants her request. Texas Attorney General and well-known piece of shit Ken Paxton appeals this to the Texas Supreme Court. Everyone freaks out online. All these right-wing groups are saying that it's not, this pregnancy has to run its course. That's the only compassionate solution, even though this woman could die. And Paxton sends a warning letter. There's all the social media outcry. The 3 hospitals where Cox may have gone to get the abortion were threatened with legal action and penalties. And Cox basically said, "Fuck you, I'm going out of state." I don't know where she went. I don't think anyone knows where she went, but she left the state, which is a completely legal thing to do. Now it is the case, however, though, that there are some number, I don't know which ones, but some number of Texas counties who are trying to outlaw traveling through their county if you're driving to get to a neighboring state, if you're going there to get an abortion. How do you just pull over every pregnant lady that you see? I don't know how you enforce this. But anyway, we don't have to get into it in any greater detail than that. Uh, in terms of public policy and in terms of humanity, especially right now, it's the holidays. I'm a big fan of, I don't know, being gracious, and I understand the fact that I don't know what other people are going through, and I don't know, I don't claim to understand other people's problems, but this propensity among political leaders on the right to just be uh, it's not just conservatism, it's not just being religious, it's not being fervent, it's not being right wing. It is, the only word I can think of is cruel. It's intentionally, consciously, overtly cruel, just for the sake of being cruel, as far as I can tell. And whether that's tied to the fact that they get more money from wealthy donors because the more they further these agendas, it's profitable for them. I don't know, but it is mind-boggling to me that, as you'll recall, 1,000 years ago when we were in high school, and you and I and anyone listening that are still friends of us to this day, bished at length about what a absolute scumbag Ronald Reagan was. Republicans that then, at least some of them, were capable of decency, and now they can, and now seemingly none of them are, and I just don't get it.
I,
Happy holidays.
I, and it's to the point where when you hear stories like this, in my mind, I picture just like a long table of these guys sitting there, and you start like you pan to the right, and there's a guy at one end who's like picking his nose while wearing a propeller beanie. There's two guys playing chess incorrectly. They're all just doing dumb shit till you get to the very end of the head of the table, and there's a guy there nibbling on a urinal cake going, "Well, fellas, how can we be more shitty today?"
Yeah, it really, I mean, it's if the Marx Brothers were in charge of the criminal justice system or something, what uh, it is just insane to me. And I don't know. I continue to be, just shake my head at it. I continue to be marvel at the fact that Donald Trump is the GOP front runner, um, and the fact that whenever anyone begins a sentence with the words, "Well, as a Christian, comma," you just know there's something shitty and hateful coming next, seemingly, because um, every person I know that claims to be a Christian are terrible Christians, seemingly.
I don't know. All I know is that when I was in college, I spent a lot of time in the sociology and psychology building, and there was a professor who had a map up on the wall, and the map, I think it said, this is what the United States will look like in 2025.
Mhm.
And it was not the United States anymore. It was 5 different countries.
Right. I've seen that map before too. Yeah. Right.
And damn, we are
Yeah.
headed that way.
Yeah. So it certainly seems that way, but it's alarming to be heading into 2024, and we have someone like Donald Trump basically copying and pasting from the works of Adolf Hitler, and millions of people going, "Yep, hmm all for it. We're all good with your quote interest in genealogy, unquote, and your focus on bloodlines, unquote." Like, no, that's not good. That's eugenics. That's racism. That's concentration camps. We've done this before.
Why don't we have more Norwegians coming here? We need more Norwegian immigrants coming here. Why do you think they don't want to come here? Why do they want to come here?
Right. We have nothing to offer.
Rudy, no one kisses my daughter like that, Rudy.
Yep. So anyway, I didn't mean for that to be a downer, but it's be gracious to people, be kind to people, be relaxed, and don't assume that you know what the hell's going on with even the members of your family. Um, butt out until someone has asked you for your input. If you're a person anywhere in the world who's hearing this and you are seeking an abortion, there are abortion resources out there, legal or illegal. Do some searching in your area. You can find them. I judge there's a groundswell of a network of resources all over Texas where, if you're trying to get to New Mexico because you're now pregnant and you don't want to be, there are resources available. So find them.
And as people, as people smarter than me have pointed out, Texas is a big state. It takes a
Yeah.
long time to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's going to be an underground railroad situation where
Yeah.
people find shelter in houses and churches and other places where,
Yeah. I completely agree. Anyway, Happy New Year. Sorry for a bit of a downer. We have, I think, much more light, silly, funny stuff coming up in January, or at least more interesting, maybe some historical things. And for me anyway,
not
coming
me,
from
man. It's all
uh,
gloom and doom from my perspective.
the
I'm
Baton
just
Death
kidding.
March, go.
I'm kidding. It's just gloom, no doom, just gloom. Um, I got a lot of cool things coming up on the horizon. So, thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for chiming in with ideas for the new year and upcoming stories for Dream Idiots. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for listening and hanging there with us. Happy New Year. We'll be back again the first week of January. January 2nd, I think, is the first episode of the new year. Please like, share, subscribe. We would appreciate it. Give us 5 stars. Shoot us a review if you don't mind. And drop us a line at dreamidiots.podcast@gmail. That'd be great.
And explore the back catalog. Check out, I know there's some listeners that have just hopped on. Just check out the titles and the descriptions and see what's out there that you like, because you never know what you're going to get with an episode. Sometimes it's lighthearted fool tommery. Other times it's a little bit more in-depth historical stuff. We've got multi-parters. We've got quizzes, some more successful than others. We've got other little games and things and lists and all kinds of stuff. So there should be a little bit of something there for everyone in the Dream Idiots back catalog of 100 episodes. And be good to each other.
Bye.
This is a Rough Tiger production.
Bong bong,
Mhm.
Brian.
Bong bong.
Bong bong.
Bong bong. Good.